James, how's things?
Things are well. I'm doing this interview, by the way. Great to see you. I'm doing this
You
interview
too.
from Varginha, Brazil, and
Amazing.
things are
Well,
really cracking here. Like it's really. I feel like this is the beginning of the beginning. Really, you
that's really
know.
exciting to hear. So, I mean, firstly, congratulations on the new version of Moment and Contacts, new revelations of alien encounters. I watched it twice. I watched it last night and a week or so ago. Fantastic. I like how you've blended in the new stuff with the previous work on the case. So, we are limited for time. So just tell us, you're in Virginia now. What is the latest with this investigation?
So for the first time in history, we got together with all of the doctors together in the same space. Yeah, Dr.
Whoa.
Giannini, the forensic pathologist that did the the tissue sample analysis from the deceased military officer Marco Cheriz, the Dr. Armando, who did the actual autopsy on the deceased military officer, Dr. Cesario, who actually tried to keep the military officer alive threw the kitchen sink at him, and he said that the bacteria wasn't responding to any of the antibiotics, which he's never seen before and he's never seen since. Um, we uh, we got Dr. Italo, the neurosurgeon, who allegedly had face-to-face contact with the being in captivity. He was there, his wife, all their wives, and just really sort of getting to know them and how long they've known each other, and just getting in that inner circle for a number of reasons, right? I mean, just establishing credibility and what's
Yeah.
their how long they've known him, and 30 plus years, 40 years, 45 years, friends with their wives. I mean, these guys this is a tight group of doctors, and they're all supporting him coming forward with that claim. More than supporting him, I have it all on camera, and I'll be releasing some clips probably as early as today about just some of
Wow.
those meetings. But so that's happening. We met with the new mayor. We're having a screening here in town tonight, and I'm doing the best I can to get more people to come forward because I feel power in numbers and safety.
Yeah.
We met for the first time with a nurse uh, last night, and this individual said, "I know Dr. Italo is telling the truth," and I said, "How do you know that?" And this individual was like, "Because I was in the room." I was, holy
Wow.
yeah, so it's really, it's really happening. And obviously, I know your audience, people feel frustrated, like, "Where's the video? Where's the photograph?" Like, if there's anybody on the planet, in fact, let me start that one again. There's no one on the planet trying harder than me. Okay, believe me. I if you if they knew 1/50th of the efforts that we're making to get my hands on that, you just have our team. It's unbelievable.
And that's the 35-second clip, is it? That
Oh, there's a bunch. No, we've discovered there's more. There's photographs, there's video taken from multiple sources. No
Oh,
question.
wow.
I just no question. I sort of have the impression on some of it is that they all need to be on the same page. And
Right.
look, it could be wrong, but this is the feeling I get is that they all because it exposes people in it. So they all need to be on the same page. We're going to release this, right? So maybe one of the doctors or who knows, but we've got names. We're doing our best.
Amazing. So where's the pressure coming from mostly, or the concern? Is it because of the Brazilian military? They silenced these people back, 29 years ago or whatever it was.
Um, People are concerned that have no evidence coming forward. So you can imagine if you've got evidence, you've got a big target on your back, right?
Yeah.
Um, we met with an individual last night that again, it's just a claim, right? I don't know if it's true, but I don't know why this individual is not going on camera or anything and not trying to sell me anything. But this individual was saying that his friend was in the military and he kept one of the pieces at the crash site, and he was
Wow.
describing exactly what it was, and that you crumple it up and it would retake its form, and that the military got wind of it, and they went and took it, and yeah, he shouldn't have talked about it. Yes.
Wow.
So, but in terms of like really compelling first-hand eyewitness testimony, I think this is the strongest case by far in the world. And the vast majority of firsthand witnesses are still alive, and they're of
Right.
the age now where they're like, well, if I'm ever going to come forward, now's the time, because they're not getting any younger. So if they were in their 40s, for instance, they'd be in their 70s. They're in their
Yeah.
50s, they'd be in their 80s. Unfortunately, the chief of police, Pedro Aguariari, something like this. Sorry to mispronounce his name. We got him on camera, thank God, this year, and he just died.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and another one of the crash witnesses, in Eurico, Freitas, I think, is one of the farmers that was a witness to the object with the tear in the back of it. We have a new witness now, Fabio Furtado. Went out to his farm, and then we mapped it out. I don't know if you noticed that with what we did this time. We took like Google Maps, and then we were like, okay, well, where does this person live, and where does this witness, and where was the impact site, and now it all makes sense. Everything, all the pieces of the puzzle line up perfectly. It was incredible, to see that, and yeah, and the former investigator, one of the lead investigators, Vittorio Paccaccini, is he went off the radar for the better part of 20 years, and he's back in the mix now. And he was the one that says, I'll put my hand on a Bible and take a public lie detector test. His friends, because he grew up in Tres Corazones, which is like the region where Eza military base is, and he knows those people, and those are the people that he claims showed him another video, the video that was taken, and they did it because the Americans apparently were coming in and taking everything, and out of protest and without authorization, they just shot like a short video of the creature in captivity at Eza. I think it was either at Eza or Campinas.
And that's the thing, you say the puzzle pieces all make sense now. They really do. And the journey that the being or beings took from the regional hospital to Humanitas, to ISA, to Campinas, and then to the US. I mean, there's so many people now just confirming that timeline, and it's just, I mean, it's so compelling. It really is.
It's absolutely insane. And I don't know how much I can reveal here, but
it's Christmas. Come on.
Well, no, because I don't want to jeopardize
sure.
it. But we are probably highly probable, maybe tonight. If I have to stay up all night to do it, I will. We're gonna go. I don't want to give the location, but we're going to meet with an individual that allegedly was part of the military operation, and this individual doesn't want to come forward publicly, but this individual is considering letting us record all their credentials on camera and a statement on camera that I can present to the United States, to select members of Congress in the United States, along with all the other testimony, right? So that this individual is considering allowing me to do that, having trust in me that I'm not going to expose, because they're pretty. Sorry, I keep sipping coffee. I just literally, I haven't had coffee.
No problem at all.
Anyway, yeah. So it's extraordinary, and I've seen a couple of people online like, oh, well, I saw this, interview with Dr. Italo, the neurosurgeon, and he said that he only saw the video and didn't see the creature. I was like, yeah, that was us, because we have someone that's been working within, and I got to be careful what I say here, but we have someone who we meet with for over a decade that works at the hospital. And this individual is like, you should go talk to this person. I've heard that this person, wink, wink, So we heard that Dr. Italo had seen the video, because that's been our primary objective, is to get our hands on the evidence. And so we approached Dr. Italo, having no idea that he was a firsthand witness to the creature. I mean, we were just like, yeah, we heard that so-and-so said that they showed you the video,
Yeah.
So we went there on camera. It was our team, it was Marco. and I actually did a Zoom. I did a video call with him, and when he admitted to having seen the video. He's like, "Yeah, I saw the video." I said, "Oh my God." So now he calls me, "Oh my God." He's like, but he was like, "No, I didn't." He wasn't ready. He said he wasn't ready at that point. He wasn't ready to come forward. He just wasn't ready. So he denied seeing the creature. But I didn't think to ask him if he saw the creature. I think Marco did, but now he said, it's been about a year. He had a heart attack, then he got
Yeah.
prostate cancer, and
Wow.
his fellow neurosurgeon, Marcos Vinicius, who was also present, had a heart attack and died in 2018. And he said he was staring at the ceiling in the ICU, and he was like, "You know what? If I survive this, I'm coming out. I'm going all out, all in on this." And so, we were in the right place at the right time. We were interviewing the two forensic pathologists about these extraordinary observations of the bacteria. And we were like, "Oh, and by the way, we're trying to get in touch with Dr. Italo. And we'd met with him like a year ago on camera, but he wouldn't get back to us. It was like he was being very evasive. And I would jokingly say he's like trying to grab a bar of soap in the bathtub, He just was like 1 second he's there and then pooh, he just
gone.
and Dr. Cesario will be that way as well. And because it's a big commitment, and this is their career. Like, you're going to come forward and you're working on people's brains and say, "Yeah, by the way, I had a face-to-face contact and communication with a live alien." Like, you really think that's a career enhancing move for him? Like, that's, it's a really big deal. And so anyway, the Dr. Armando, when we were interviewing him this year, we said, "Oh, and by the way, we're trying to get a hold, and he's, "Oh, let me, okay, tomorrow morning he's going to meet you. Go around the back.
Amazing.
We're going to meet you around the back gate, and what's he going to say?" We didn't know what was going to happen, and he sneaks us into the hospital in the back, like through the back door, basically, and takes us into the ICU, the very room where the creature sat in the bed, in that room. It's like, it happened right here. And at first, he starts talking about the video. So I saw the video, and then apparently there was they put like a temporary drape, like a curtain, from where the creature was. And I guess Marcos Vinicius was like showing the video because he'd done a procedure on the creature, and then there the creature was, and just decides, the hell with it. He literally said, "Whatever the consequences are, I don't care anymore. I can't take this to the grave." And we're interviewing in there, and we weren't supposed to. We had to have all the gear on, because you can't go in the ICU without all the stuff, right?
Sure.
And and then we get caught. They kick us out. He's like, "I think I just got fired." Like, we go to we wanted to finish kind of filming with him a little bit more. We go outside, and then we go in some cafe. And everyone in the cafe is like, "What's going on here?" Like, a doctor's coming in, and we're this whole crew of Americans. And anyway, and and it's been rough for him initially, but then we've been meeting. I've been here 3 times, and I'm coming back again next month in this year alone.
Wow.
Because I wanted to make sure that Dr. Italo knows that we have his back, and that the community has his back, and that whether you believe him or not, this man has dedicated his life to helping people in the community. Everybody knows him. He's been here forever. And to have respect and be kind, and and just so and then the rest of the community, particularly Dr. Armando, which runs all the hospitals, and he was the guy that did the autopsy on the deceased military officer Marcos Ruiz. He assured us that he's protected, like they have his back, which is great.
Good.
And I said, if you lose your job because it was rough for a little while, I'll do a GoFundMe, and but right now it's okay. So it's pretty crazy over here right now. It's pretty
I can
crazy
only imagine. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, just sticking with Dr. Italo, there's a point where he gets quite emotional towards the end of the documentary, and you can almost see that this guy is not doing it for any other reason other than to get it off his chest.
He has not asked for one dime. There's things happening. I promise you, there's things happening. There's things happening. Yeah, that
Sure,
involved
no problem.
passports and visas.
No worries. And watching the documentary again, with comparing it to the original release in 2022, I believe it was, that one scene where you go and try and meet with Eric Lopez, the driver, um, is that lead completely dead and buried now? Is he just adamant he's never going to come forward?
Last night we had a decision to make, the crew here, and it was go meet with some town officials that really wanted us to go meet with, or go to church because we know what church he goes to at 6 p.m. on Sunday.
Wow.
I kind of wish we would have gone to the church last night, but we had to make a decision. That people that are being extremely, we just had to film a bunch of statements that it's part of this project that we're doing next month. And so we got the official city hall with the flags and the podium and all of this stuff. And those people that made that happen for us invited us to an event last night. So we had to make a decision: are we going to go to that, or we're going to go to try to track down Lopes? We did contact his wife after that incident, and I said, because I always say, when I ask somebody, I don't say like, would you consider, or I say, what's it going to take
Right.
for you to come forward? What is it going to take? Like, just hit me with it, And I said to his wife through someone else, what is it going to take to get a statement from Eric Lopes, your husband? And she said, and it just so happens, a lot of people don't know this, her brother was Marco Cheriz. So Marco Cheriz, the military officer who allegedly grabbed the creature when it was alive, got a little scratch from the nail under the arm. That's what killed him.
Yeah.
His sister married the driver, Eric Lopes. So I said, what's it going to take to get your husband, Mr. Lopes, to come forward? And she said, bring my brother back to life, and then he'll talk.
Wow. That's a tough one. Wow.
Yeah, that's yeah. I'm pretty good at making things happen, but that's oof. Yeah. Hey, but another thing I was
I
going to
want to
mention.
talk about the air traffic controller that we see.
Yeah.
Sure. Go on.
So yeah, no, I was going to say, because when the first version of this film came out, this was before all the congressional hearings and the allegations of crash retrieval and the Dave Grush stuff. You know what I mean? So I feel like, it might have, maybe it was a little premature, or were people ready for it? I don't know. And I feel also that the case on its own, because I know personally, because I was working on my second UFO film in the late 90s, out of the blue. I know my response to it when I was already doing a UFO documentary. Like, I'm already making a film on UFOs, and I'd heard about it from my partner, Tim Coleman. And my response was, this guy needs to up the dosage of whatever medication he's on, because he's lost his bloody mind. I'm not going to spend 1 second looking into this absolute nonsense. Like, I dismissed it faster than you could possibly imagine, right? So I know what it's like for people that have limited information on the phenomenon, that this is a very difficult case to even consider believing, right? I understand that really well, because I dismissed it for over a decade. I wouldn't even look into it. Yeah. And so I felt like the case on its own, hey, well, extremely compelling, but but then you got the congressional hearings, right? All the congressional hearings, all the allegations at the highest levels. I mean, these people are testifying under oath to a bipartisan group of lawmakers, under oath. There are consequences for lying to Congress under oath. Like, what,
Sure.
And that coupled with, so you have the allegations on the American side, all the congressional hearings, and then you have this case. And I think between the two, it's making the most compelling argument that's been made, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. So I really think that they need each other, right? And you have Dan Farah's film Age of Disclosure, and that, look, people can criticize all they want. Oh, where's the evidence? That is the highest level officials that I have ever seen in my life going on the record talking about
Yeah.
crash retrieval and reverse engineering and the technology and all that stuff. That's not a big deal, okay? But they don't provide any cases, which is fine. I'm not criticizing it in that respect. So it's like you've got age of disclosure, you've got the congressional hearings, you've got allegations at the highest levels of government, and then now you have the case. And this is the case. In my opinion, this is the case that's going to tip the scales.
I really hope so. I mean, if any case is going to, it will be this one. And I was just going to say, we've got the air traffic controller talking about, the US coming in, this USAF aircraft and helicopters flying to Varginha, and then, pretty compelling as well. But, you've made friends with a lot of people in government in the US, in the congressional halls, let's say. Have you spoken to them about potentially digging in to see if we can find any more evidence about this USAF connection? Because that would
Hell
just add
yes.
so much. Right. Okay. So what
kidding
was
me?
said?
Oh my gosh, I've been colossal effort. I mean, you saw the FOIA request, right?
Yes. Yeah.
In the movie. So it took 3 years to get a response, and the response came from the CIA. So we're basically requesting all the flight logs of any USAF, United States Air Force, planes coming in and landing in Campinas, right? And it was like, basically, you guys can kick rocks. It's national security. It's like, no, we can't confirm nor deny, I think is what they said. But I was just asking for flight logs, right? But I can assure you and your audiences that I'm absolutely speaking with members of Congress and trying to find one. There's nobody that wants to find all this stuff more than me. I actually got contacted by someone who sent me an email, which I remember thinking, this is one of the reasons why I'm providing a Proton email now. Sent me an email via Google, Gmail. And I was like, this is it. He was like, this individual claimed to be on the plane from Campinas, told me the rank, like, blah, 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 all these details. And then that just unfortunately fizzled out. But the initial effort, the initial email that I got was so convincing that this individual, I get a lot of, but it was so convincing, and how hard it's weighed on him, and all this stuff, and the details of the flight, and that the alien was on the plane, and just all this stuff. And I was like, holy shit, this is it. And then it was like, oh, my email got hacked, and I don't know what you're talking about. And I was just, oh God. So I don't know if somebody got to him. I don't know if it was a prank. I doubt it. If when I show you the email and you read it, you'll be like, well, this individual really sounds like they're involved. But anyway, to answer your question, I'm rambling at this point, but I'm making every effort possible, plea possible to get people on the American side to come forward.
Brilliant. Let's just hope something turns up. I wanted to ask you, if something like Varginha happened today, how do you think it would be different from, 29, 30 years ago? How it would unfold?
Let's see, 7,596 photographs and videos. Right? I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. That's how it would be different.
So
yeah. We did something yesterday that has never been done before, and I invited for a lunch here in the house that we're renting, all the family members, the cousins, the brothers, the mothers, the grandmothers, the daughters, the sons of all the witnesses, and so we can get statements of them on camera on how this has impacted their family. How this has affected them, because like there's a backstory to all of it, because most of the time we just focus on the witnesses, but what about the impact on the families? How's like the mother of the girls, how has it affected her? What, all these things. It was incredible, and I'm going to be releasing those statements in the weeks ahead of us, just because it's very interesting. I just got to put subtitles and everything else on them once we get some time, but it's
Sure.
very interesting to hear from the family members that how this has impacted them, how what their thoughts are on it, and all that stuff. It's fascinating.
It is, and you say it is a very good point because these people are affected just as much as the direct witnesses who were involved. You mentioned there the girl's mother. Wasn't she visited by, men in suits offering her lots of money to stay quiet? So, she's directly affected by this in quite a, it must be traumatizing.
She she was the first case where I finally said, okay, I believe these so-called, I hate to even use the word men in black. It's men in suits that show up
Sure.
around the world, intimidate, harass, threaten. I'd heard about them for 2 decades prior to this, you
Mm.
know? I never went all in on it because I was just like, come on, And then when Louisa, the mother of the 2 girls, Liliani and Valkyria, said, "Oh, and then these men showed up and they were intimidating. They had a briefcase and they offered they they basically said they were very forceful. They basically said and it was at night and somebody knocked at the door and she was like, there was various UFO researchers involved in the case, like Ubadajara and Peccaccini, and so she's like, "Oh, it must be Peccaccini, Ubadajara," and she gets to the door, and then she opens the door. It's like, "Oh my god, who are these guys?" And they came
Mm.
in forcefully and offered her money. And the catch was that she had to get her daughters to go to a press conference and then say they were all lying and
Right.
do that that's not what they saw, blah, 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 and they could leave the country and live happily ever after. And she's like, she's devout Christian, and she's like, my daughters aren't liars. I'm not going to do that.
No.
But I really believed her. I just looked at her and I thought, I got to report on this. This is it for me. That's the straw that broke the camel's back. That was
Right.
her testimony of the visit she got. Really, I found incredibly compelling, and I absolutely believe her. About
Sure.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, James, I know we're stuck for time, so 2 more questions.
Yes,
Where
sir.
can people go and watch the new version of Moment of Contact?
Um, you should have the Genius links. I don't know if they didn't provide them to you already, but it's Amazon, Apple, Fandango, Google, and I can make sure that you have those various links.
Yeah.
And we had it translated. I did the best I could in record time in as many languages as we could possibly do. And I will also make sure that after a few months that we transfer over to various streaming platforms that people can watch it for free online. I'll do the best I can to get it distributed to as many places as possible.
Amazing. I will make sure any links that are available to me will be in the description of this. Finally, James, Varginha to the side, looking forward 2026 and onwards. What's the next project for you?
Well, that the next project for me is I can't really talk about it right now, but it's happening next month. And then I'm going to
Right.
make a
Okay.
movie about that project, and I'll release that. And then I think I'm going to try and make a major motion picture on this case because I think it's the real life ET.
So wait, this case next month is a whole new case.
No, it's an event.
Oof.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's an
Okay.
event, and it
Well,
involves
James,
passport
listen,
visas.
that's exciting. So
I'm not
exciting.
trying
It
to
always
be. I'm
is,
not
and I
trying to
know
be
it will.
evasive. I'm not trying to be evasive. I
I know
really
how it
would love to
goes.
just give you
I
all the details.
understand.
I just can't. I was asked not to. So
Yeah.
right now, yeah,
I appreciate it. Well, James,
yeah.
thank you for your time today. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you very much. Thanks, Vinny.